Hello, everyone. Welcome to your second live show in under 2 hours right here on the Viking Media Network YouTube channel as we recap Wrestlepalooza, the first ever WWE PLE on the enhanced ESPN app. I'm Keila Cash, and by my side, as always, is not Salty Scott Young. It is an honorary member of the rap family, a true blue member of the Viking Media family as well. He has sat through a lot of wrestling today heading into this evening, but he's here up and ready to go for your listening and viewing pleasure. I bring to you too the WWE Post Game live to recap WWE Wrestlepalooza, the one, the only Grandpa Des, Paul Fontaine. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, Keila. Yeah, I even watched the CMLL show from last night when I first woke up. So yeah, more than you think I've watched today.
You've been wired on wrestling for possibly 12 hours, potentially.
No, a lot longer than that.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
I woke up at 7. So that's 15 hours ago.
Whew.
Yeah. I did watch a little bit of regular TV in there. So probably like 13 of those 15 hours.
Alrighty, so you did get like a little mini break between all the
Yeah.
wrestling of it all today.
Yeah,
Because,
a little bit of driving, a little bit of food. So yeah, but
so you got nourishment, hydration. That is key.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a long day today, and it's
It
not
wa-
over.
The day is not over. We still have a show to cover. I saw some of AEW's show as well this afternoon. Very jam-packed day. So you saw a lot of the AEW pay-per-view outside of a few matches, and you saw all of the Wrestlepalooza special on ESPN. So overall, your thoughts on both shows in terms of who delivered the better show overall before we dive into Wrestlepalooza?
Well, I would say it's not fair for me to judge the AEW show as a whole because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I stopped it to do the show, so I still have the Bucks match to finish, and then I assume the world title match. I think just those two. So, but up until that point, I would say it's close, and they're very, very different shows. But I would say personally, for my taste, I like the WWE show just a little bit better of the two. That said, I could easily see myself changing my opinion based on the last two matches on the AEW show. But I thought, I will say that I was expecting the WWE show to be better, given that it was the first show on ESPN, given all the hype. I was expecting maybe some big, angle, return, something. And I mean, we got one kind of special thing that happened that we weren't expecting, but I mean, I wouldn't say that was I don't know, it's not something that would put the show over the edge for me. So it was almost just like just a regular PLE, like not even like a big three. And they were calling this like a mini WrestleMania, and it was more like a just whatever those random shows are, Backlash, like one of those, in a way. I mean, we did get the first match of AJ Lee, we got the return of Brock, but I don't know.
It felt like, as you said, a very average WWE PLE, very much a B-level show.
Mhm.
And I expected more because you are now on ESPN. And the only difference was y'all was on ESPN. That was the only difference. You're on a bigger platform and you had to spend more money than we ever have in a very long time for a WWE show. So if I'm spending out of pocket around $30, I would like to make sure those $30 are well spent for my first experience on the enhanced ESPN app. The only difference was it was on ESPN. It was a perfectly fine show. I had a very good friend of mine go to the show live in Indianapolis. And she felt like it was a glorified episode of Friday Night SmackDown with higher ticket prices. And I kind of felt the same way outside of AJ Lee's return, outside of EO versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. It did feel like a glorified SmackDown on USA that you paid extra money for.
Yeah, that EO and Stephanie match was, I mean, out of all the matches I saw that took place today, I would say that was the best match. Although, like I said, I haven't seen the top two AEW matches, and I would say the MJF Mystical match from last night was better than that. But you know, it was excellent, and you know, probably should have main evented the show, honestly. But you know, they weren't going to main event over Cody and Punk and Brock, I guess. But I thought that was the match, even going in, like, that people were most looking forward to in terms of wrestling.
I felt that way too. Then I realized it kind of snuck up on me the day of, like, oh, Stephanie and Io are fighting for the championship. That's going to be a really good match. And it was. I do feel like, in hindsight, the mixed tag should have main evented the show, because they did move things around the day before with Brock and Cena opening the PLE. And in hindsight, that was probably a very good idea, considering how that match was laid out and booked. And the mixed tag match was so over and so much fun. That could have been the main event. I think the Cody McIntyre match was good, but no title switch, no surprises at the end. It felt like, if I can tune in on a Friday night SmackDown, put that on USA, that would have been a perfectly fine main event, just not for this show to end the night that way. That's just me.
No, that's a very good point. I mean, I will also say, like, you brought up, you know, paying more for the show than you normally would have. And I mean, so for me, like, I'm in Canada, so I watched on Netflix. And I know a lot of people didn't have to pay for the show. You know, like, if your cable system had made the deal with ESPN. So, like, I don't know how many people that watched actually had to pay. But I will say the one thing that I noticed, and this is watching on Netflix, and I don't normally watch these shows live, so I think it usually skips past the breaks for me when I'm watching on delay. Watching live, we didn't even get, like, actual commercials. We got these just random, like, WWE Superstars posing, and we will return in, you know, in a countdown clock in the top right corner. And that's all we got during the breaks. So for Netflix, and my friend who I watched with, he does normally watch live, and he said, like, they've never had that on Netflix. So this is something that's changed with the move to ESPN. It's also affected the Netflix. And I don't know why. But, you know, like, so for them, they used to get, like, interviews, maybe video packages, building up the next match or something. And we just got this stock footage, which was really weird.
Yeah. And if you're watching on ESPN, we got legitimately commercials for 3 minutes in between the matches. Yeah. Just inundated with commercials, which was something that you got on Peacock if you had, like, the plus version of it versus Premium Plus, where you got your superstar profiles from your favorite WWE superstars, and you got your video packages too. But yeah, the commercials, it felt like I was watching Amazon Prime and it was Thursday Night Football and you would just run the ad. Yeah. So that was something I had to get used to as well, because it's not just WWE during barter time. You're actually running ads to kill time in between matches.
Yeah, and that would contribute to you and others. And I see Maria made this comment too, like, that it feels like a Raw or SmackDown when you're getting commercials in between every match. You know, there was 5 matches, so, you know, we got. I mean, it's not that much, I guess, for a 3.5 hour show to get 15 minutes of commercials, but, you know, when you're actually having to sit through them, that's a lot.
You can't fast forward. They have, like, the little clock there too that says, hey, in 3 minutes, these ads are going to go by, and then you're back. And then you're not truly back, because there's more, like, little WWE ads in there as well. So it's a 4-minute break when you think about it. So it was just.
Like, there was a legit 15 minutes probably between each match. You know, between, you know, whatever happened after the match, the commercial, coming back, and, oh, you know, we're going to be in, you know, Perth next month, and, you know, this and that and the other thing. And then you get your video package for the next match, and then you get your entrances, and then you get the match.
Yeah, definitely something we have to get used to. ESPN was a little glitchy for me. It did buffer a couple of times, so I got to work through those kinks. But otherwise, it was a clean viewing experience for the most part. So let's get right into the show, shall we? So we kick things off with a very long video package highlighting the partnership between WWE and ESPN. I thought it was beautifully produced, artfully done. I saw the intro during the pre-show, I should say, because I just wanted to test the app at 5:00 to see if it was working. Saw that they replayed it in the arena. Then we had, like, the most expensive pyro for a show not named WrestleMania or a Saudi show. Like pyro was firing off mid video package. Triple H comes in the ring to introduce us to the WWE on ESPN era. More pyro goes off, and then we segue into our first match, which was Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. A match we have not seen in about 11 years since Brock mauled Cena at SummerSlam 2014, where he became the WWE champion. So we get this matchup that was built up courtesy of Brock's return to SummerSlam last month, very controversial return. And since that time, Cena and Lesnar have been appearing separately on WWE programming. So we thought to ourselves, well, we've seen Cena overcome Lesnar before. He can do it again. This is his retirement tour. You expect him to win. He gets the hero welcome. We get some kids coming out there, which was adorable. And then the match starts with Alicia Taylor's introduction for John Cena. And then in a shocker, Paul, there wasn't really a shocker. Your namesake, Paul Heyman, appears to do the in-ring introduction for Brock Lesnar, something that hasn't happened in a very long time. And I guess that Paul still has love for his former client.
Yeah, that was I mean, I was a little surprised just that they were that blatant about it. I mean, last night I think was when he said we have to talk, right? And then he shows up here. I one thing I wanted to bring up about that opening video package is that the first time we've seen Vince's face on WWE programming since he left, because he was all over that thing.
I believe so. That was the most Vince we've seen in quite some time. They even redid the WWE signature opening for the show because it's a new era. So they updated that, which was nice.
I didn't notice if Vince was in that, but I did notice him a lot in that ESPN package. So, I mean, it's, whatever. Like I wouldn't say it bothered me or anything, but it was a discussion point with the people I was watching with. But yeah. So, and the kids was a nice touch. One of the people I was watching with was like, he wanted Brock to go through and start F5 and all the kids.
Oh no. Now listen. Now, sir. Now we cannot be having a big ass lawsuit.
No.
We cannot be doing that. And the kids were already traumatized enough, as we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah. Until they noticed they were on television.
Okay, that girl, we'll get to her because she was the best worker of the night in terms of reactions. But the match itself, can we call it a match? Because it was just a bunch of moves. Let's hit our finishers. Let's go back and forth. And Cena did a lot of selling for Lesnar. He was very dominant, physical, powerful early on. And it was a Brock Lesnar special. You got suplexes. You got some violence mixed in. John Cena hit about 5 AAs to try to get the W, and Brock Lesnar kicked down. And then Lesnar just went on an F5 parade, just hit Cena with maybe 6 F5s to get the pin. And the fans were surprised by this outcome. So was I as well, because as we all know, Cena is down to his last few dates in WWE. We are in the single digits, and this is how you waste one of his last matches in the company by having him get mauled by Brock Lesnar. And then Brock just walks away standing tall. Cena sells the beatdown. He gets up. He gets applauded for it. But I just felt like, well, this is the way we're going to start the show, on a very sad, somber note. We have kids in the crowd crying. They're traumatized, devastated. They're the hero. Got beat down. There was one girl who realized, wait a minute, I'm on camera. Oh, I cannot cry. I have to toughen up. I'm a tough one. I'm a real one. I laughed at that. So it felt like, I'm glad this did not main event the show, because if that was the main event, that would have been a piss poor way to introduce everyone to the WWE on ESPN era. So they made the right decision to open the show with this, even though I hated the booking and I really despise the finish of this match.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Cena should have won, although I understand Brock Lesnar signed a new deal, and it's pretty clear if you're putting him up with Heyman, and then especially given how the match went, like they've probably got big plans for Brock going forward, which that's a whole other discussion. And I definitely don't think it's a good idea to make big plans for Brock going forward, but clearly they have. So, in that sense, it's probably the only finish you could do. And it's probably the way the match had to go, no matter which one of them was going to win. Like, it was going to be like the match itself was exactly the match I expected. I just wasn't sure, who was going to come out on top, and it could have been either one of them, honestly. And until he hit the last F5 and pinned him, I didn't know. And, and Cena could have kicked out, and then he could have hit, 6 attitude adjustments and got the pin. Like, that's just the way that match was going to go. And it just, it's okay. Brock wins. He wins decisively. He did, I think he did even one after the match or a couple. It wasn't too bad though. He's done worse.
He hit an F5 on a referee.
Yeah, he did that. Oh, that ref took a great bump.
He did. I think Cena might have one more, if I'm not mistaken. And then Lesnar leaves. And then Cena wakes up and he says, wow, that happened. And now on to Perth.
Yeah, and he got to leave on his own power. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, but still, like, that's just the first impression we have of the ESPN era. John Cena gets beat down like that. It's very much a redo of what happened back at SummerSlam 2014. But at least that one was like physical dominance that people did not expect, because I think going in, you wanted to see a back and forth match between Cena and Lesnar mauled that man. And I think that was a way to establish him as an unstoppable champion. Made sense, this booking here, when you have Cena at the twilight years of his career. Do you really want to have him get demolished like that? Definite choices there. So now on to Perth, Australia, where Cena will go overseas and make another appearance, his final time in Australia for a PLE. Will he be competing in a match? I don't know for certain, but I don't think he should have lost this match the way he should have. I'm just, from an optic standpoint, I just thought it was a choice.
Yeah, no. And again, if Brock was not going to be used in a major role going forward, then you could obviously have Cena win, and he should have win. I just think, like, if Brock is like, I don't know, like, I assume Brock's going to be like going for a world title or maybe wrestling CM Punk. Like, it's got to have something to do with Heyman. So it's going to be a big deal, and he probably shouldn't be losing to Cena if that's the case. Now, I would argue back and say, well, I wouldn't do that with Brock. I mean, bring him, go send him to Saskatchewan, let him come back for SummerSlam next year. Like, I don't need to see him on my television, very much, if at all. If you want to keep paying the man, fine. You got more money than God, but I don't need to see him on my television or on these PLEs.
I share the same sentiment. I feel very numb watching Lesnar matches. I have to call him by name on the show to be professional, but redacted? I would just I normally call him redacted.
There's a Dr. Redacted wrestler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, every time I see him, and I see him a lot because I watch a lot of wrestling, I think of you and Scott.
Yeah, we call Vince redacted, we call Brock redacted. So seeing redacted back, I honestly just feel numb to him every time I see him on screen. It's like, I just want the segment to be over. I don't want to see you too long. Be gone. One thing I will say, he is big. He is bigger than he's ever been. My God in heaven. He looks huge.
I gasped like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then, when my buddy was like, he's always been big. I was like, not this big.
No. No. We've seen him big. This is like, he looks huge in terms of the muscles, the body mass, everything looks jacked.
I think they said he was, did they say he was 330?
He might very well be every bit of 330.
Yeah. And when he was peak UFC, he was, he had to weigh in at 265.
Yeah.
So
he looked slimmer there versus being completely jacked here.
Yeah.
For sure.
This was like, this is like when Triple H came back, but way more, like when he came back from the quad injury.
Yeah, this was actually bigger than Triple H, and that is saying something by a lot, actually. And Fernando makes a very good point. The John Cena retirement tour has been a very confusing farewell tour. It has been quite confusing. We've been on a journey. We've had heel Cena. We've had babyface redemption John Cena. Now we have Cena eating losses on the retirement tour. on his way to retirement in a couple of months is definitely been a choice. I think Scott and I have joked that Triple H says, hey, I didn't have a proper retirement, and so none of you people who are going to retire are going to have a proper retirement, not on my watch. So Cena, poor baby, he's being sabotaged via his retirement tour. I will say that on the AEW All Out show, Cope did pay tribute to John Cena with the 5-knuckle shuffle and the AA. Beautiful moment. They won't be able to retire each other in the ring, but to see them pay tribute to each other across the aisle was beautiful to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we doing the ratings?
Yes, we are. So
okay, I'll give it 3. No, 2.5. 2.5 F5s.
I share a brain with you. I agree. You saying 3, I said you're being very generous, sir. 3 F5s would have been, a bit much, but I will also go with you and say it was about 2.5 F5s in terms of the quality of the match. Shout out to the crying children in the crowd and the parents who brought their children to be traumatized.
Oh, I mean, how much money they spent to traumatize their kids?
$13,000, if I had to guess.
Gosh,
those tickets were high, very expensive, very expensive to see these children out here crying. But despite how it went, when you can sell that to the children and the children can believe it, you've done your job effectively. You've told a story that makes the children care. In that moment, the child thinks it's real, damn it. They think it's real. They think it's real pain and suffering and anguish. And you've done your job if you've made a child cry.
Yep.
Except
Good
that girl
job
in the
making
crowd.
Kids cry.
except the greatest seller who said, I'm not crying. You won't get me on camera. I got a reputation to maintain.
First kid, though, he might still be crying.
He probably cried on the way home.
Yeah.
His parents offered ice cream. No.
Well, he was probably a Drew fan too, so doubly hurt.
Oh, he had a bad night when both of your guys lose in their matches.
Yeah.
A crying shame indeed. As we get to our next match, which was the Usos versus the Brawns, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, in a tag team match with extra special guest referee LA Knight. And LA Knight simply did not care about the rules. I don't like anybody except Jimmy in this match. Do whatever you want. I'll turn my head. You can do whatever you like. So the Usos came out to their OG music. I think fans have been like, whoa, wait a minute, listen. That's cool. That's the original mix. We want the remix. And so they gave them the remix of Jay's theme song, and they had the cameras, the flashlights on to give the ambiance of everybody yeeting. That was a nice touch to introduce the ESPN crowd to that kind of entrance and crowd reaction, and coaching to tell the fans turn the lights on, because I remember when it got over really big overseas, it did not translate stateside. So maybe it catches on this time around via the flashing lights effects on the cell phones. The match itself, I thought it was very fun. You had some high spots here and there. The Usos are incredibly over. The Brawns are great heels. And then we get something that was very odd midway through this match. We had plunder, we had violence, of course. And then in a moment that I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened, Jey Uso chucked a chair at Bronson Reed, and it ricocheted back onto him, and he busted himself open. And the next thing I remember was the fact that Braun Breaker was covered in blood. I was like, what happened? Who got busted open? It wasn't Braun. And then I look at Jay's head. He's completely covered. And then we have the Brawns take out Jimmy and Jay. They go through the table. And then Braun takes out Jay. And then Braun sets a tsunami on Jay for the victory. And the heel stand tall. LA Knight counts the pin. 1, 2, 3, very clean. And my friend who was there said it basically changed the mat because so much blood was spilling all over the mat when Jay got busted open. So it was a lot of blood. It carried over into the commercial break, a lot of cleanup there. So that was a very freaky spot. Hope he wasn't concussed because of that. Kind of ended the match on a down note. But wow, I was just stunned that he basically took a chair, chucked it, and then you chucked yourself, knocked yourself loopy, and bloodied yourself.
Yeah, that was like I was, cause again, I'm watching with people, and I kind of like didn't even notice what happened. You describing it, okay, now it makes sense because all of a sudden Jay is just bleeding like crazy, and we couldn't figure out why. And then yeah, so you mentioned because the announcers didn't really like they called attention to the blood, but they didn't really call attention to how it happened. And yeah, that's something. I thought like, yeah, good. I was a pretty good match. Again, the LA Knight being the way he was, you kind of expected that going in because of how the interactions have been with him and all these people going in. I like the fact that the Vision had matching tights, and black and gold, championship gold, kind of look like the Hurt Syndicate a little bit with those tights. But the them getting a win over the Usos makes me wonder, like maybe they put them against Judgment Day and they win those tag team titles, and then you got the whole stable with belts. Other than Brock, if he's part of that stable, I don't know if he is, but the vision of all four of quote unquote the Vision, pun unintended, having belts. Becky, Braun, Bronson, and Seth. It would be kind of cool, and they could kind of run roughshod over Raw for the next few months until people start winning them. I kind of really like that a lot. And then Bronson Reed, especially, like I thought this match, like Braun does his stuff and it's always impressive, and the speed and the power and everything, but I thought Bronson to me stood out in this match, and seeing him get the win was great.
Love that for him too. He's very good in the ring, and when you give him an opportunity to shine, he always balls out. Braun Breaker is going to Braun Breaker. Like, I expect him to do crazy stuff, and he did so once again tonight during this match. But this is a really nice showcase for Bronson Reed because he can really go at a very high level as well. I thought the Usos did a great job. One of my favorite tag teams ever in WWE, and they delivered. The finish was definitely something else. LA Knight, he did call things fairly down the middle. We did have a near disaster when Jay almost clocked LA with that steel chair. Loved how close it was to LA getting hit, but that just builds tension to whatever happens on Monday Night Raw, because I do foresee a match between LA Knight and Jey Uso as they're teasing Jay's character switcheroo. He's gone from, hey, I'm loving life, I'm eating with my people, to I'm really hungry for a championship gold. I'm kind of like my cousin Roman Reigns that way. I love the power. I love how it feels. I want to be the tribal chief. Jimmy calls him out on it. So you do see these underlying storylines, which is very good. And you're going to see that kind of build up post Wrestlepalooza, heading into Crown Jewel, and ultimately probably Survivor Series in November as well. We have to think about the mysterious phone call that Jay had on Monday Night Raw as well. I presume it was Roman Reigns, the talk strategy heading into their match. I expect Roman to return as well, and I would love to see that interaction as well when Jay kind of bucks Roman and what Roman's reaction is going to be, because, hey, until further notice, I am the tribal chief. You're not.
Yeah, and Jay putting on his big boy pants would be something to see, and they certainly hinted at it. So yeah, I am definitely intrigued.
Me too. Would you actually have Jay go heel?
I mean, would I? It's risky. I think that's where it's going. And I'm really like I'm like I'm intrigued, but I'm also a little bit worried. But you see that frustration. And the other thing is, I think there's the imminent return of Gunther, right? Like I've heard that
Yes.
he's pretty close to coming back, so that could also play into Jay. And however Gunther's presented when he comes back, does he come back? Does he get cheered? Does that further Jay's frustration? And then with Roman, and maybe he gets upset with Roman. And I think there was something, even when Roman they had an interaction on, I think it was Clash of Paris, or maybe it was like the Raw right before that, where Roman was basically like almost telling him, like, you gotta kind of pick up the straps and take charge of things. So that maybe that's why his impetus for doing it would be.
Yeah, and the irony of Roman being selfless and
Hmm.
then Jay being selfish. Like
Right.
that flip.
And that would be something that's out of character for Roman, and then it comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah,
But
like y'all
yeah.
told me to change. I was being like this self-absorbed dude. I've repented. Now my cousin is
Yeah.
going to be the one that's going to be this asshole to me now. So it's going to be like a nice
Yeah.
role reversal. And as we keep saying, the bloodline storyline is truly, despite how long it's been going on, it is a gift that keeps on giving because you recycle it, you do something new and different, and then you're teasing a heel turn with Jey Uso, which could be fascinating. You're risking merch, you're
Hmm.
risking the fans not being as participatory with the yeeting. But if it's a way to get great character work out of Jay, then that's a good thing for me because if I said this before too, and that he is, when locked in, a great promo. And you
Hmm.
have to give him something good to talk about. And that requires a motivated character that he can sink his teeth into. And you don't want to be reliant on gimmicks and catchphrases. If we can get away from that for a bit, I'm fine with it. The fans are going to do what they're going to do. If he's great in all areas of his game, they will still cheer him if he's great at what he does. And if they feel a certain way about it, then they won't. But I do think he does need a little something, a little switch in the gear to get back to where he was pre-eating, pre-championship.
Yeah, and you want to make that change before the fans decide for you
Mm-hmm.
and stop yeeting and basically just treating him indifferently. So yeah, I I think everything you laid out there is bang on.
Yeah, and we'll see how LA Knight plays into this as well because he's been
Mhm.
doing a very good job in this storyline, and Jimmy always is going to be a wild card as well. So all in all, like despite how the match ended, there are ways we're going in direction that I do like. So Paul, what is your final rating for this match?
3.5 yeets.
I concur. We're on
Oh,
the same brain tonight. We're working and flowing here, which I appreciate. So, kind of staying on the same track. Our
awesome.
next match is for the vacant. Goodbye, vacant. You've had a good run. It is for the vacant WWE Women's World Championship. It was Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. And this match was, for me, the best in-ring wrestling match of the night. Both ladies went out there and they just put on a clinic, put on a show, and they just really showed how great they are in various ways. Stephanie has been over since the moment she stepped foot in WWE NXT and how she's really gotten over on the main roster. Io Sky, her last year has been incredible. You put these two together, they will create magic, and they did so. And I greatly enjoyed it. Loved the near falls, loved the counters, loved the high flying, loved everything in the middle. And then Stephanie goes up top, his spinal tap beautifully,
Oh,
cleanly. Oh my God. When she hits that finisher, it's gorgeous. It never misses. The pinning combination was even more beautiful. Got the dub, wins the championship clean. And the best part, Paul, zero shenanigans.
yes, like we're watching this match and waiting. You know Asuka's coming. And I think even the fans, like they were, I won't say they weren't reacting because they were reacting very well to this match. Although like not at first, but as the match went on, like I'd say about like 5-6 minutes in, that's when they really started to get into it. And then they never lost them. But there was a point when you kind of sense that, okay, everybody knows the finish isn't going to come until we see Asuka. And then she hits that spinal tap, and you're like, oh, maybe it will. And then it did. And it was clean and it was one. And that was like, and we saw that in the main event too, where, it was like, when Cody hit the crossroads and then he's probably going to hit like 2 or 3 more and then go for the pin. And then it was like, it's one. And then that's it. And you're like, well, okay, like we don't have to do like spam finishers, like you could just have a win. I love this. I feel like Stephanie winning the title is probably, she's just kind of holding on to it until Rhea takes it in Perth. But at least she has the title and she'll always be a former world champion, and she can probably win that title back anytime. She's at that level. Io Sky will never leave that level. She is Michael Cole called her, and I agree with it. The best in-ring women's wrestler in the world. I will admit to not watching a lot of Stardom or any really. So I can't compare to those women, and I understand a lot of them are very good. But of the ones I watch, and I watch a lot, she is definitely the best. Mercedes right below her, but I would have Io at the top.
Yes. Fernando says, I would like to put Stephanie V in that conversation as well. She's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I was a Julia fan for a good while. And then Stephanie showed up, and I was like, you know what? I have a new favorite, because Stephanie's presence is everything. And she just goes out there and she just wrestles balls out at a very high level, very much like Io Sky. I think Io Sky is the best wrestler in WWE, one of the best wrestlers in the world. And whenever the voting goes for the Wrestling Observer, she should definitely be in the conversation for one of the best wrestlers overall for the year, because she has been incredible. Stephanie, I would say, has been right up there. She's always shows up, and this match was great. As Paul said, not spam finishers. This wasn't a 2K25 wrestling match. This was pure graps. I loved it. Finish was great. I will agree that I was listening to the crowd. They were into it, but I expected more, because I think you were right. They thought Asuka was coming out there. Kairi Sane was coming out there. It's going to be some trouble. They stayed in the back, which means on Monday Night Raw, Asuka is going to demolish Io Sky. And Kairi Sane is going to join in. She'll be torn for a minute, and then she's going to jump right on in, because they've been building this up for a moment now, and I'm here for it. But I will push back a little bit, Paul, because it's Perth, it's Crown Jewel. The rules are, unless they do it on television beforehand, it is champion versus champion this year.
Oh, right. Okay. So, Stephanie versus what? Jade?
Jade, Tiffany, potentially, most likely.
Yeah, you think she's retaining? Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Nia. I don't need to see any more of those Nia promos.
Listen, I'm done. Don't
her doing stand-up comedy on
in a work shoot way was annoying on SmackDown. Saying Jade can't wrestle. Like, well, Nia, listen, you've improved a lot, but you are one to talk.
If there's one person she could switch wrestling ability with, it would be me. Okay.
Which version, sis? Because it can't be the first version of yourself, because girl,
I don't think it could be any version of her. I mean, she's improved, but
yes.
I mean, anyone? I don't know, man. And just, and like, I just wanted the hook, like I wanted like Triple H to come out there and say, okay, no, enough of this. Let's put up the graphic of Jade posing for 3 minutes, and then we'll go back to our regular scheduled program. So I forgot about that. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then maybe Rhea's, just gonna, maybe they'll have like some sort of a multi-person match for a title shot, and she wins that. Like, obviously she's got to get a big win on that show. They're building the show around her, I think. So okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, maybe she will keep the title till like Royal Rumble at least. That'd be nice. Yeah,
I would love to see it. If I had to guess, heading into Perth, potentially, I do probably see Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors. They've been teasing that too, so I'm all kind of for that as well. So I am for that. Give me that. I'm ready to go there. And then Fernando notes Stephanie should beat Rhea and have a long reign. If they get to that match, I think there's a lot of money there, because anytime they go face to face, the crowd pops. That will be a very hot match. And then Maria chimes in to say Stephanie is going to outclass Tiffany Stratton.
I'd say that's a safe bet. I'm just, you talk about Rhea, you talk about Tiffany. I just can't wait for Stephanie and Bianca. Like, oh my God.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
And also I need like Bianca and Rhea. They've been denying me for the last 4 years. Stop playing in my face. I'm praying for Bianca's fingers every day that they heal up. This is the longest injury layover she's ever had. And it hurts me so bad because, yeah, those fingers got demolished at WrestleMania. And occupational therapy is no joke. So
Her fingers can't be any worse than Mox's were after Darby slammed the coffin on them.
it's worse, Paul. Like
it?
her,
Okay.
like if you saw the pictures, like
Okay.
3 months later, her middle finger was still bent.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
see her in the
Obviously, I was
splint?
joking, but
Yeah.
that is bad. No, I was just like,
Yeah.
well, her fingers. I'm like, maybe a month, a month or
Yeah.
two. It's been
I thought
like
the
5
same
months
thing.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully she's back soon. Royal Rumble seems like a good time. And then Rhea could win the Rumble, and then we can get our Rhea Bianca match. So we can do Stephanie and Bianca at Royal Rumble, and then we can do Rhea Bianca at Mania.
Yeah, and then we can pay off the story that's still hanging in the air too, that Rhea's never been EO either. So there's a lot of stories to pay off.
Yep.
That really means something heading into the Royal Rumble. And of course, next year's WrestleMania back in Las Vegas to run it back one more time. So I'm about to call you Scott.
I know.
Because of the ratings.
Yeah, I know.
In honor of him.
I am going to go 4.5 bouncies for this one.
Thank you, Booker T.
No, that's Wade.
Well, listen, he's trying to clean it up versus the grunting. So
yeah.
The bouncies is very nice. I'm going to go 4.5 Spinal Taps. I'm going to be a little bit more classier versus the bouncies. So we're the
same rating again, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go 4 3/4, but I don't know. I think maybe another 5 minutes and we could have got there, but
yeah, I think so too. I think the end came kind of suddenly as well, and then the crowd, as I said, they were into it, but I thought they were expecting a run-in, and I think they kind of muted their reaction a little bit, but they were there for the finish for sure. But great match, great finish. Congratulations to new Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. As we get to our semi-main event of the evening, in my humble opinion, the match that should have main evented this show, it was the couples, the power couples, the married couples. It was Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, the World Heavyweight Champion and the Women's IC Champion, respectively, coming down like a lift, and they come down wearing all purple, looking ridiculous. If we go back in time from 2019 to now, God, they work so much better together as heels. They're just so beautifully stupid together. And I love that for me. So goofy and so much fun. And then we have the other power couple, CM Punk and AJ Lee. AJ's first match in a WWE ring in well over 10 years. And this match was straight out of the WWE 1980s playbook in terms of tag team matches. We're going to have the babyface in peril. We're going to have you wait for the person you want in the match to come in. And they did that with AJ Lee. She gets in there. And yes, she's a little rusty. The punches were not great. But overall, being out of action for 10 years, I thought she did a very good job. Shout out to Becky and Seth, especially for being there for every spot. There were some really cool tandem spots with all 4 people in this match. The couples balled out. AJ took some crazy bumps down the stretch as well. But overall, I really enjoyed the match, and AJ is going to land that Black Widow on Becky Lynch and make her tap out. And I know that's most likely setting up a match between the two for the IC title, possibly maybe at Crown Jewel.
Yeah. I will say that I probably, when we get to the ratings, I think we may end up disagreeing on this one because I probably liked it more than most. There's some personal stuff here that it added to my enjoyment. But I will say, like, I agree, like AJ looked phenomenal. In-ring wrestling when she was there, it wasn't at the level that it is now. So I think, like, in terms of, like, we're not getting like Io Sky or Stephanie Vaquer, Bianca, like we're not getting that. But she's definitely at the very least at the same level she was at before, and probably with the added, years and, watching and studying wrestling and probably training and, talking to her husband and everything, like the psychology is going to be better. So she's going to be able to have matches that are going to be better than people with the same athletic ability that she has. So she's got that going for her. I see, like, probably like again a Intercontinental match with her and Becky, and I think she should probably win the Intercontinental title. And if I'm thinking even further, I could see a Nikki Bella heel turn, and AJ and Nikki would be natural rivals, I think. I like this match quite a bit. I think it's maybe the best mixed tag I've seen, like maybe ever. Like they're usually not very good. The ones that's kind of stick out like were, Becky and Seth had some in 2019, 2021. They had a forgotten one in like 2021 with like I know Cesaro was on the other side of it. I can't remember who he was teaming with. And then Kurt Angle and Stephanie, or Kurt Angle and Ronda against Stephanie and Triple H is probably like the gold standard of mixed tags. And this, I think, was a very different match, obviously, but for my personal, preferences, I like this one more. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed this. I see that it went like 29 minutes. It didn't feel that long, but it did feel a little long. I would have guessed like maybe 20 to 25. 29 is like, in a way that's too long, but then in another way, it's like, it didn't feel like it was 29 minutes. So, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Maria says the match is very mid for me. And then she also said it was definitely the best intergender match ever. So
yeah,
it went from mid to greatest intergender match ever.
Well, what she's saying is that intergender matters suck. It's like it's like a couple weeks ago when they had that blindfold match in NXT. Yeah, the match sucked, and it was also the best blindfold match I ever saw. Yes. So so it's kind of like this.
Yeah, I agree. Like that blindfold match definitely exceeded every ounce of expectations that I had, which were none.
Yeah, it got like a 1.5 as opposed to -3.
Exactly. So like we're definitely trending in the right direction. And this match, I will say, like the gold standard, as you stated, is still Kurt and Ronda versus Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania in New Orleans back in 2018. That was a lot of fun. This was a blast too, and I just really enjoyed everything that they did. AJ, of course, is going to improve over time in terms of getting that rhythm back. But for what she was able to do, she was tremendous, and I really enjoyed it, and she was fabulous, and she looked great as always. And CM Punk, come on. Husband of the year, supportive, there for his woman, and he's just basking in her light. And I love that for him. Like, if you want to see love, that man loves his woman down 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, very happy. And I'm just happy for AJ. I'm sure this was hard for her, mentally, physically. So for her to be able to get over that hill, have a match that was received very well, I think good all around. And obviously Seth and, there's some real heat there, like real life behind the scenes heat, that I know at one point was there. I don't know if it's still there, obviously, but they worked together and they worked well together. And there were some spots that they clearly had worked out ahead of time. Like they must have had to have practiced them because the timing was, kind of incredible. On a couple of, like, there's one, I can't remember, there's this one spot that they did where it was like one set of finishers like directly into another one, and it went over, like, so they had to have practiced that. And if they're working that well together, then that's a good sign, that maybe that legitimate backstage heat is simmered, if not gone.
They're best friends too. They went out for dinner after the show was over. They're going to each other's vacation homes. It's a big kumbaya party, and you can see the trust and how much fun they had. My favorite spot of the match was when AJ kicked herself off of Seth into a DDT on.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. That one was pretty cool, and the sliced bread too.
Yes,
that was clean too. Clean. So
yeah. So just hats off to everybody involved. At the root, like they're just two singles matches. But they worked the hot tags really well. Becky did the standard pulling the legs out as they're about to make the tag, and then in the ring, like trying to drag Phil so he couldn't make the tag, and so they, a lot of really good stuff. And yeah, I a lot of fun, and now we can move on to probably singles matches between the two, which is the next logical step.
Yes, for sure. Singles matches. Let's get to it. And Maria does say, yes, these matches are usually bad. Yes, historically, they're usually no good. And you do find a few diamonds in the rough every now and then. And this, century of mixed tag matches have improved greatly. The quality has improved tremendously. And I thought this match was very good. Told a very good story. So, Paul, on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of moves and maneuvers, what do you give this match?
Like I said, I think I'm probably a little bit higher than you, so I'm gonna go 4 skip to lose.
Skip to lose. Skip to lose.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Seth's inability to skip. So
that was funny.
I was like, what is he doing?
Well, I knew what he was doing. It just didn't go very well.
Oh my God. Like, what are we doing here? Very, very weird. Very, very odd. Just doing the absolute most for heat. I love Seth. He's the best. And the way he sold the Black Widow, like, dude.
Yeah.
I love Seth. Like, we don't give him enough due. He's great. So
he's the glue that keeps this brand together, really.
He really is. And what I love about him is that he's a great wrestler and he's not afraid to look stupid. Not only in his outfits, but when it's time to sell and do things for the right things and reasons, he's always there and it makes sense every time. So he will always have my respect for that. It's a really fun match with the 4. Congrats to AJ coming back and killing it. And hopefully she continues to just knock off that rust, getting more comfortable out there and deliver on the second run in WWE. And a record was broken. This was her longest match she ever competed in WWE. Like, wow. Seriously, like we have to remember what era she came from. So 2-minute bathroom break matches to the longest match of her career.
Yeah. There's probably like months that went by where she didn't wrestle this long.
Yes. So definitely an achievement there for sure. And as Fernando notes, Seth is definitely the MVP of WWE. I would put him in that conversation for sure. I would say Cody as the primary MVP, but Seth is right there in terms of doing good business on a consistent basis. Now let's get to.
Hey, what was your rating?
Oh, my rating 4 Black Widows.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we had the same. Wow. I figured you were going to go like 3.5 maybe.
No.
Okay, so we're all together.
Yeah, so we're still in sync.
Awesome.
That might change with the main event. That we might diverge off the path at the end of this, but we'll get to that in a moment. But let's get to the thing that happened before the main event that was out of the clear blue sky on a Saturday night. So the Undertaker comes out there on his motorcycle bike. I'm like, what's up? Okay. So a surprise, as Paul Levesque teased, a surprise on this night. And Stephanie McMahon is sitting in the crowd. And something is up. Something is up. Something is suspicious. Stephanie's birthday's in a few days, legitimately. But Undertaker's like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? I'm just out here talking to you. It is, congratulations on everything. This is a lovely night. Cracking little jokes here and there, And I just got 2 words for you. You know what? You're going to be the first inductee into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. They broke a record for the fastest, earliest announcement of a Hall of Fame induction ever. Stephanie was legitimately shocked. This was not like bad acting. She did not see this coming. And I thought it was a really sweet moment because we know that Stephanie and Taker are really close. And like she was really floored by this because let's be honest, they tried to pretend they shocked Triple H when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame earlier this year at the headquarters. This was a legitimate surprise. Stephanie didn't know. And I thought her reaction was really, really sweet. And then we got the backstage of her and Paul Levesque hugging and just sharing a moment that was really beautiful as well. So congratulations to Stephanie McMahon headlining the class of 2026 at the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, this was nice. I mean, Taker comes out and it's funny because they kept like, I don't know why he's coming out. I assumed he was coming out to read the attendance. Like that's my first thought. And I didn't know that Triple H had promised a surprise. I didn't realize that. So He comes out and all of us in the room are like, what's going on? And then they kept showing Stephanie, and she's standing there and just clapping, and we're like, okay, like we get it, she's there. You saw Nick Khan beside her, and and then he wasn't beside her because I think he didn't want to be on camera. And then and then he comes down, and he sits down beside her, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? And then and literally right before he said it, we're like, is he gonna put her in the Hall of Fame? Like, that's literally like the thought came into our head. I think one of us even mentioned it, and then it was literally immediately. So yeah, and then her reaction, you could tell, unless she's a great actress, and I really don't think she is, it was very, very heartfelt reaction. She was legit surprised. Well deserved, I will say, based strictly on her in front of the camera work. When you include the backstage and everything she does behind the scenes and all the work she's put in, it's former CEO and all the different roles she's had. I mean, no brainer, obviously, but even just as an on-camera person, she was a key figure in the Attitude Era and the post-Attitude Era. General manager on SmackDown. Just very memorable. Always did a great job in her roles. Obviously there's times when she got annoying and people thought she buried the divisions at times. But a lot of that, like the stuff she got blamed for, wasn't even her. Like, it was, decisions that were made above her, and she was just playing her role. So some of it, obviously was her, but, like overall, I think generally a positive character on television over the last, almost 30 years. So well-deserved. Looking forward to seeing her, and hopefully, maybe they put her brother in at the same time. We'll see.
Listen, Declan is on the timeline saying, listen, put my daddy in the Hall of Fame too. I said, listen, listen. Now, listen, I love Shane. I do. I love both McMahon siblings. I do, for different reasons. I grew up watching Stephanie during the Attitude Era, and I loved her character. She got on my freaking nerves as a part of the McMahon Helmsley era, but that was my era, and I loved them. I loved her when she was a SmackDown GM. I loved her when she took a break and came back, and she was with her husband. The Authority, it was grating at times. She was a tremendous character, and she did a great job in that role. And of course, her behind the scenes roles as president of the company at one point, being a part of the creative team. Yeah, it was a lot of hits and misses here and there for sure, but she will always have my infinite respect. And I know that at some point, when the time is right, there will be a story for her to tell, the full story. And when that time comes, I'll be locked in. So I'm very happy for her. This induction is deserved. And I was very touched by the moment, like a rare moment in WWE that felt very sincere and real. And it was a nice moment for sure. Now, I spoke this person up earlier because I figured he was going to show up at some point. And Scott decided to come in. And he wanted to add a person in the conversation for MVP. And he says there is no MVP conversation without the great Tonga Loa in the mix. I want to revoke Scott's chatting privileges for the rest of the night. Tonga Loa is the MVP of nothing.
Put user in time out.
Exactly. No. And then the Wrestling Lowdown comes through saying, I got choked up when Taker did that with her. I did too.
I wanted him to, my first thought was he was going to look at her, grab the mic and say, where to, Stephanie? But yeah, we didn't get that. But it's like, yeah, to go from that, with the cross and that he brought up and kidnapping her. I think that was the night Owen died. I'm not positive, but I know like that whole time frame is fuzzy. But it was like, yeah, that where he took off with her in the limo and kidnapped her, and then Austin had to save her. It was, all pretty memorable. And then churning on Vince. All that stuff. The feud with Sable, the feud with Trish Stratus, lots of great stuff. She had that WWE title for a long time too.
She sure did.
Yeah.
And then got Lita over when Lita beat her for the title. I remember on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
Fun times indeed. Wrestling Lowdown also knows from Taker putting her on the cross for a wedding from hell, a sacrament ceremony that was going to go horribly wrong. Look how far they've come.
That match that she had with Trish, and the moment where Linda got up, like that is one of the
Yes.
biggest pops in WrestleMania history, and she was part of that. Like Stephanie, like it doesn't happen without Stephanie. So everybody played their roles, but she played it perfectly.
She did. I mean, she had her moments, undoubtedly. So her and Trish, listen, that match wasn't perfect, but I tell you what, for what it was at the time, for their experience level, it was a heated match, and it was great. It had great heat.
Yeah.
The intensity was there. Then WrestleMania, as you said, one of the greatest pops ever when Linda got up from that chair and she kicked that man in the nuts. It was a beautiful WrestleMania moment. And Stephanie, as you said, was a part of it. She was right there in the mix. She's been a part of a lot of incredible moments. We talked about her and Ronda Rousey. She got that lady over in a big way at WrestleMania, and she balled out. Like Stephanie, she has been a part of some really, really cool moments in WWE history. And when it's time to sell her ass off, she does just that. Ask Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
RKO. Who can forget that? And what happened in that moment? Heat-seeking moment. People cared because look what happened.
That Triple H Roman match that was dying a death, and then he took the bump through the table, and everybody woke up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woke right on up. The power of Stephanie McMahon should not be underestimated because she elevates things every single time. And then the Wrestling Lowdown asks another good question.
Whoa, that is a good question.
Who will induct her?
The natural thing is Paul, but I don't think it'll be him. So I probably Undertaker.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Or her brother, unless they're both going in.
Yeah. Or unless there's some hard feelings that one of them isn't getting inducted.
Lord, listen, Declan went on the timeline and said his daddy deserved to get inducted, so there's some family beef. And that
they wouldn't bring Linda in, would they?
Oh God, no, hell no. Like I wouldn't say hell no because it's WWE. I don't want Linda up there. Honestly,
you could do Trish.
You could do Trish.
Yeah.
You could do Trish.
Yeah,
absolutely, you could. Absolutely. Linda, she can sit in the crowd and hold and be with the children. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Naomi says she's going to be there, and if she gives birth at the ceremony, we have to have Pampers on standby.
We'll put her in the Hall of Fame if she gives birth at the ceremony.
She says she will not miss this. In the event that she is not given birth, she wants to be there. I said, girl, we can have you having your water break at this.
That is one thing too, like, I'm glad you mentioned that because it brought something to mind. She is legitimately one of the most well-liked people involved with that company, and you're going to have people from outside the company that used to work there that want to come in to see this, because say what you want about it, it's not the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, and a lot of times it's at the whim of the people that run the company, but it is a big deal to the people involved and to the people in that company and people that have worked for that company. It is looked at as the Hall of Fame, so you are going to have a lot of people that want to be there to see it.
And they'll find a way to do it for sure. So congratulations to her. Very nice moment of Wrestlepalooza. As we get to now our main event of the show, which was Cody Rhodes, our undisputed WWE champion, versus the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. And listen, I love Cody. I love Drew. I love both men respectfully. This match is very good. This could have been a main event on a Friday night SmackDown, any random PLE on a Saturday night, perfectly fine. For your first foray on ESPN, we needed something a bit bigger than this match. It was well wrestled. We had some decent near falls in the mix. Then Drew goes for broke, sabotages himself, kicks the announce table desk, basically screws himself over. Cody takes advantage. Super Cody Cutter, Crossroads, 1, 2, 3. That's it. And then you think to yourself, okay, we get the little graphic of executive producers Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque. Oh, must be a surprise, right? Nope, we go right off the air into the WWE Post show. Definite choices there. I did read earlier today that some fans might have wanted to see a title switch just to cause a little shock, a little awe, just to get you a little surprise, like, oh, anything can happen at a PLE on ESPN. That did not happen. So it was a very average way to end the show. And at that moment, I thought to myself, well, you know what? As I said from Jump Street, the mixed tag team match could have main evented the show and we would have been good.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. Very, very good match. And there's a time when this could have easily been, a very good pay-per-view main event, but the standards have changed. We had pretty big competition on the day. It was the ESPN debut. You kind of expect to see your best foot forward, and both these guys are capable of much better. And and they only got like just 16, just under 17 minutes. It was the second shortest match on the show. So for the two guys in the main event, like I almost wonder, like, did they get time cut? Did like maybe because that mixed tag went so long? Did they lose some time? I don't know. There were people in our room that were wondering if Drew's injury was legit. I don't think it was. I think he's just a really good seller. But if that's the case and they had to go home early, I guess we'll probably find out. I don't think that's the case. I'm just bringing it up because someone thought mentioned it. But I liked the match. I was expecting a little bit more. I expected Cody to win, so nothing wrong with the booking. And again, the finish was one Crossroads, so I like that. And sometimes depending on where you're going next, like it's more important to have that dominant win, like we saw with Stephanie and Io, than to have a banger with back and forth finishers and kick out, this, that, and the other, and then Dave Meltzer gives it 5 stars. Sometimes a match like this is more important, to establish Cody as the guy, because I will say, like, he won the title. We didn't see him for a while. There's times when I forget that he's a champion. Like, I think he needs to be established now. Like, he needs to go on a run where he defends the title a few times and and is the guy. Like, he is the guy anyways, but is the champion, because I was even going into this thinking like Drew could win and like not much really changes. Like, Cody's still the guy. So in that sense, maybe that tells me something about the title, and Cody needs to elevate that title again.
Yeah, I think so too. He's been off television for a bit, shooting Street Fighter, obviously. But even before then, it felt like, wow, he's kind of like a low-key champion. This is your second reign as WWE champion after your first reign for being a champion for well over a year, losing to John Cena at WrestleMania earlier this year, getting the championship back a few months later. It's time for Cody to be present as champion. But then again, I have to remember, Paul, where we are. We are living in the SmackDown era ran by Road Dogg. So you're not going to get anything that's good or decent on that show for the foreseeable future. So you're not going to see Cody actively do a lot on that show. And his feuds are going to be mid. I hate to say it, but it's true. Buckle up. I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Fernando says that Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky should have been the main event. I concur in a way as well. Anything that would have been better than this match in terms of a better finish, a happier ending to send people home on a better note would have been better than this main event, which was perfectly fine, but it was giving a regular PLE finish or Friday Night SmackDown finish. And Maria knows that she expected more from this match as well. So did I, because I know both guys can deliver at a very high level, and they didn't get a lot to do in terms of building up this match. They had a couple of things on SmackDown, and that was it. It wasn't a rivalry that had me like, oh my God, I have to see this match. And it wasn't wrestled as such, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, like it was, I mean, Drew like kind of took over started the match. I think probably the first half of the match, he was just like completely dominant. Cody was like selling some sort of a knee injury or a concussion, like wasn't even quite sure what he was selling, but it was something. And then, so you kind of assumed, okay, there's no way Drew's winning because he's being way too dominant here. And then they kind of went back and forth for the second half of the match, and then, like I said, Cody won clean. So, I don't know if the knee injury that Drew was selling means where he's going to take some time off, or what's next for Cody. There's no real obvious challenger, unless it's Brock. And I already had my feelings on that. Maybe the vision, if he's part of the vision, maybe they want to spread across two brands. I don't know. But, I don't think Nick Aldis wants Brock on his brand based on the way they interacted with each other on Saturday. It might be the first time when you have like two GMs fighting to keep the guy off your brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Neither one of them.
We don't want the smoke. We don't want the smoke.
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Actively saying, you know what? I do not want this problem. And then when you mention about the possibilities of who Cody's next opponent could be, it's like, we already saw him beat Brock a couple of years ago. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was looking at Brock's history, and I think like Brock is 2-1 against him in their last 3. So maybe Cody wants his win back. I don't know.
We can just skip it. Paul said, let's keep redacted in Saskatchewan. Okay. There we go.
You can go watch his kids play hockey. Hockey season starts in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and then watch your daughter ball out.
Yeah. Come back at Mania. Squash almost, and then disappear for another 6 months.
Run back another match we saw 2 years ago, which was an actual WrestleMania match.
It was. Yeah,
crazy.
Just keep racking in those dollars and stay off my television.
Yes, and the Wrestling Lowdown is correct. I did see the WWE Post show on ESPN, and that Seth did confront Cody at the after show, and they will do that champion versus champion match at Crown Jewel. And I have to say, I got a little excited because we have not seen them wrestle one-on-one in about 3 years, and they've been
the Hell in a Cell, right?
Yeah, a classic 5-star match that Cody never wants to watch back because of the torn pec. I get it, but dude, it's an instant classic. I love that match so much. I love their chemistry. And, one of the best things about Seth's turn earlier this year is that tension because of what Seth did for Cody at last year's WrestleMania, and how they've never really talked about what happened at this year's WrestleMania. They've had a stare down, but now we kind of see where we go from here. Is there still that respect, that love there that was developing, or is it back to where we were before?
Well, given Seth's current alignments, I think we're probably going to be, it'll be a little more hostile than brotherly love.
Agreed. And Fernando still thinks that Randy turns on Cody. That is a possibility.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And Randy, for the last few months, has been teasing a punt. And I think if you're going to go in that direction, he will punt Cody imminently.
Yeah. I think Seth should win this champion versus champion thing too. It just feels like, I think Seth needs it more than Cody does. And I think Seth also deserves it.
I agree, to get a dub back from 3 years ago. And I guess we are bringing back those gaudy belts and rings for Crown Jewel.
And who's more gaudy than Seth Rollins?
Listen, that is someone who deserves it. Like, he does deserve his own Crown Jewel dynamite ring to knock people out with now.
Yes. Absolutely.
Add that to the gimmick. Please
absolutely.
do. Alrighty. So, Paul, what is your rating for the main event of WrestlePalooza?
I'm going to go 3 3/4 Wakanda Forevers.
Oh, dude. In honor of Rhodes Conda forever.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I will go 3.5 Crossroads. I'll be fair.
Okay. So we're close, but the one we differed on.
Yes. I had a feeling we were kind of diverge paths at the main event spot.
I mean, as Dave Meltzer says, quarter difference, we're pretty much the same.
Yeah. We basically shared the same brain tonight, which is always a net positive. Alrighty. So overall, first experience watching, well, you will never watch WWE on ESPN because you have Netflix International.
No, and I'm not watching live again either if this is what I have to put up with. I'll probably, it's Survivor Series. I might go over to my friends again because I did have fun hanging out with him. We got some food and, it's always fun to watch with people. But if I'm watching by myself, there's no way I'm sitting through those commercials.
Yeah, we got to work on that. We got to work on that because this is not a proper country. I have not had that much debt time since the Undertaker entrance at a WrestleMania when I can literally go bake some cookies and they will be done by the time he's done with his entrance. These commercials, it felt that way. I can literally go to the bathroom. I can fix a sandwich. I can get something to drink. I can do all these things. Lots of debt time. My hope is, and it was a nice viewing experience, I need my provider, Xfinity, to get the deal done. $29.99 is a lot for something I already have in my cable package.
Yeah, that's not fair. There is a workaround and it's legal. So if people are, for the next time, apparently if you sign up for a free trial of Fubo TV, they include like ESPN Unlimited with that, but you just got to remember to cancel it right away. So you get 5 days free, and then you can sign up you get ESPN Unlimited for free included with that. So that's a little thing. And there's, a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people watching live. So there is that in the future. Or you can listen to Stephanie McMahon and learn how to watch it via VPN.
I need to watch her podcast and see if she did that ad for
I heard it. I heard that part, and she literally explained it.
Yes.
And she said, gleeful. How are you, I can't believe you're still paying for this. I
said, ESPN was like, what the hell? What are we doing? And then, hey, listen, there's a workaround to the workaround. I'm all for it. So overall, Paul, first experience, not exactly an experience per se, but overall grade for Wrestlepalooza.
I will go 6 ESPN logos.
6 ESPN logos. Okay. I'll go 6.5 enhanced ESPN logos.
I was actually thinking 6 3/4 or whatever, but then that's a little too close to 7. And then 6.5. So 6.5 is probably more like what I actually felt like. I don't know why I said 6, but because 6.5 is slightly better than average, but you probably got to go back and study a little and come back next week and give me a 7.5.
Do some math as well. And someone mysterious, a higher power who is running the Viking Media account notes.
That was me.
It's you.
Yeah.
I was wondering who was mastering the system here. It's you. Yeah. There is another post show. It was the AEW All Out post show with Gigi and Jeremy Finestone. They talked about the show before this show airs back to back. So it is the rare back to back double header of WWE versus AEW counter programming 2025 through and through. It will end after tonight for at least the rest of this year. No more counter programming. NXT will not be going up against AEW. There'll be nothing else in terms of competition head to head until next year. And we know that is going to really, 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 really ramp up as we see what AEW pulls out in terms of shows, locations, and how WWE intends to counter them with their own shows and locations.
Yeah. Thank cons for no more of this competition.
We need a break. This was a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, because I didn't have a UFC show to watch today. For me personally, it wasn't that bad. It's just a lot of wrestling. Even that CMLL show probably was maybe not a great idea for me. Given how much wrestling I was going to have to watch later. But I really did want to see that MJF match, and if I'm going to pay for the whole thing, I might as well watch the whole thing. So I did.
You did.
I will say, other than the MJF match, though, I personally prefer the AAA WWE stuff. I just like the production better. I like the announcing better. But that MJF Mystico match was special, and I paid I think it was $27 to watch the show. I would have never paid that for the WWE AAA stuff, but I feel like I got my money's worth just from that one match. So if anybody's listening that wants to see it, it's on Triller. formerly Fight TV, I would strongly recommend it because that was a special match. A lot of people calling it one of the best matches of the year.
I've read very good things about that match. I want to check it out as well. MJF, to do what he did in terms of traveling from like Mexico City and then, hey, let me go up to Toronto, Canada, and then deliver another great match against Mark Briscoe this afternoon. This guy, like, listen, you can say a lot of things about MJF, but he is truly one of the very best wrestlers on the planet Earth today. And he just goes out there every time and delivers.
And put 2 people over in the last 24 hours. So
yeah, he's very much a giver when he wants to be a giver. I will always say that he is above the edgelord stuff a lot of the time, that he's gifted if he just leans into what would make him like one of the greats by not being so extra. But as a wrestler, 0 notes. He's phenomenal. Love him.
Yeah, and I think like people on both sides of the aisle, like WWE fans and AEW fans, like appreciate him, and and you'll hear like bad things about good wrestlers, from AEW tribalists and WWE tribalists, and I really don't hear that about MJF. Everyone's kind of universally like, yeah, this guy's good, and he's young, so strap in, enjoy the ride for the next 15-20 years.
Yeah, not even 30 years old, like not even in his prime yet of how great he actually is going to be once he hit his 30s, which is eerie in a very good way. And listen, I love the dude. I love him. He's very good at what he does, and great 24 hours for him. Got 2 people over, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So that was Wrestlepalooza. That was AEW All Out. That was a very busy weekend for us once again. And I want to thank all of you for joining us in the chat. Fun interactions, has some interesting characters pop in, and they popped right on out very quickly because that's what we do here. But I do want to thank my extra special guest co-host, Paul Fontaine. Thank you for tapping in, joining me tonight to talk about Wrestlepalooza 2025.
Well, thank you for having me, Keila, and I look forward to hearing you and Scott back again. I assume you're back on Wednesday in your regular time slot, so looking forward to hearing that. And it's always a pleasure to come in here and, quoting Scott, chop it up with all things WWE.
The fact we've been doing this, like knowing you for almost 5 years, is crazy. Being a part of this network, it's been one of the best experiences ever. Also, we will be taking a week off. Scott and I will be off week. Scott's out of town spending time with the fam, but we'll be back. And I'm teasing this right now because we announced this, I think, on the show on Wednesday morning. Starting, I want to have an exact date because I want to be correct. Starting on Tuesday, September 30th, The Wrap will be going live every Tuesday night.
So like after NXT?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes. So you're going to get a live version of the chaos every Tuesday night. You're going to still get the audio feed every Wednesday morning, but we will be going live tentatively starting on Tuesday, September 30th. It's going to be fun. If you know us, we say a lot of crazy stuff. Paul knows this to be true. We spent 20 minutes talking about like 90s pop culture, and Paul accused us of deliberately not talking about WWE. He might have been right.
And I'll tell you, like, a lot of times I'm lost on this stuff because I was a grown adult raising kids and working and not watching all this crap. So I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I enjoy listening to it. So, like I say, that sounded kind of negative to start, but I wouldn't listen if I didn't enjoy it. So, I love you too. It's always a pleasure to hear you and join you when I get a chance to. So, that'll be fun, and people should join you because, live is always better because you get the interaction with the people watching and listening. And Jeff and I have been doing that for a couple of years, and nice to see you guys joining in.
Yeah, long overdue. I was thinking about it myself. I was like, you know what? Feels kind of fun. I want to go live every week and kind of talk all things WWE, and then it's no better feeling than to rip Triple H every week live. Like I'm tempted to do right now, but I won't because he won't see it.
No, he's busy right now. He's congratulating his lovely spouse. they probably don't ever talk to each other off camera. No, I didn't say that.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, the allegations you just
I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
no. Someone was brazen enough to actually go on Twitter and say, "Is this going to be the night they announce the divorce at the Hall of Fame ceremony next year?" Like, y'all, wow.
No.
Okay.
Nah. You got to wait till the girls are out of school before you do that.
When the last one is out of the nest,
Yeah.
that is when you say, well, children, we had a great run.
Stephanie's got the calendar in her office with the red X's counting down the days. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I'm sure they're a lovely, happy couple.
Yeah. I choose to believe that. I do.
Yeah.
Despite what has been floating around. I do sense a love there between the two.
Just
Has it always been perfect?
Loving, happy family, all those McMahon Helmsleys.
Those McMahon Helmsleys.
Yeah.
And Shane's side of the family who's pissed off tonight. Thanksgiving's going to be a blast.
Overreacting. They're just wonderful.
Declan
they'll give Declan an NIL deal and he'll shut up. It'll all be great.
Triple H is about to revoke that NIL deal. Like, who?
Yeah.
Declan, who? Go to AEW. That's where your dad wanted to go. Go over there where the best wrestle. Go over there.
They'll give you some weird Frank Sinatra theme music and go nuts.
Team up with Hook. That's what you should do, Declan. Yeah. Take Kingston with you while you're at it.
Good team.
They actually would be. That would be. Listen, Nepo babies. That's what it should be. The tag team, the Nepo babies.
Yeah,
I love that for them. All righty, enough. See, this is what happens if we talk too long. This is what we'll diverge into as we go off the air. So that is a wrap for the WWE Post Game Live right here on the Fight Game Media Network on YouTube. I want to thank Paul, as always, for joining me. I'll be back alongside with Scott Young in 2 weeks, tentatively live on this very network feed, going live with the wrap to talk about all things WWE as we get ready for the next PLE, which is Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia, in a few weeks' time. And that will be an early morning show overseas unless WWE does a smart thing and actually air it at night in the daytime in Australia, which is very possible because you can do that. Hello.
UFC does it all the time.
Yes. Do not have us wake up in the dead of night, but we'll see. But until then, stay safe out there. Enjoy the week ahead for WWE. For myself and for Paul Fontaine, Grandpa Dez, check out the Dynamite Show every Wednesday on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel as well. Until next time, for us, take care and bye-bye.